So if you're watching this right now, then chances are you're probably from the UK and you're interested in learning about the latest financial news, investing, and how you can keep up to date with all the latest developments in the world of investing so you can make the best investment decisions moving forward. That is pretty much exactly like myself. And one of the things that allows us as investors to be able to better make decisions is to have the best knowledge available to us. And it's often said that actually the wealthiest 1% of the world are actually the 1% of people that are the most financially educated. So it's been a big quest of mine to be able to find the best financial resources to educate myself and share that information with others so that you can also learn as well as I do. Now, with that being said, what I've actually gone and done is found Britain's best selling financial magazine, and it's something that I've got on my desk here. It's called Moneyweek magazine. So this is quite exciting because Moneyweek magazine, they actually cover all of the latest developments in the world of economics, finances, and investment on a weekly basis. And there are some major pros with this. One of them is that actually, if you're somebody that doesn't have time to literally go through hours and hours and hours of research, I mean, it probably takes them days and they have multiple guys doing this, then it allows you to have a weekly summary of the latest news across the world in a very short amount of time. However, there are some downsides to this in the fact that actually it takes a pretty long amount of time to actually read the magazine, and also it's a paid subscription as well. So unless you're paying for Moneyweek, unless you're doing one of their free trials as well, they do have that going on as well. I'll put links in description. I don't get paid for this, I'm not an affiliate, but I just find a tremendous value from this Moneyweek magazine. So the whole purpose of it is really to share with you all of the latest updates in the market. I'm going to just share with you some of the ones that I think are the most relevant to average investors, and really it's going to allow you to understand some of the things going on in the world of UK finance, investing, and hopefully allow you to make better decisions moving ahead. Just to get started here, if you're new to the channel, my name is Campbell. In this channel we show you how to make, manage and multiply your money. I'm not a financial advisor and nothing in this video is financial advice. It is purely for education and entertainment purposes only. So there are going to be about 5 key points that I'm just going to break down, and it's quite funny because actually reading through Moneyweek takes about 2.5 hours of my time, and actually making these videos keeps me accountable to learning everything I can about investing to actually become a better investor too. So it's really going to be nice to really condense everything down in a really nice format that's actually usable for you as the average person. By the way, if you're excited by this and you'd love to see more episodes, then make sure you go ahead and subscribe and turn on notifications so you can be updated every time we release a new video, and go ahead and hit the like button as well if you really enjoyed the video once you've gone through it. Okay, so the first piece of news that we gathered from Moneyweek is that actually at the moment the UK markets are said to be very much undervalued. And obviously recently we've had like news from Brexit, and we've also had like a lot of positive news about vaccinations coming out. So really optimistic outlook for the UK economy, with lockdowns set to end on the 21st of June. With all of that happening, you know, Brexit sorted out and all that uncertainty pretty much out of the way now, the UK economy is really set and looking very much likely to rebound. And so the FTSE market, the FTSE 100 index, which tracks UK's largest 100 publicly traded companies by market capitalisation, is actually set to do very well over the immediate or midterm. And at the minute, it's said to be very much priced low. And of course, if we are going to enter a period now of really good market conditions where businesses are picking back up, you know, times are getting back to normal, then it's a great time to be able to buy in. If we have a look here at the FTSE 100 index, even before like the actual situation, the index was at 6,815, and we still actually haven't recovered past that point. So with all this pent-up demand that might be coming along the way, we could see some really good times ahead for the UK index. And one thing that I wanted to share with you guys is how do you actually get access to investing in the UK markets. One of the ways that is really easy to do that is just by using a broker called Vanguard. These are my favourite broker that I personally use as well. They offer really low cost funds to be able to have access to these markets. And I'm just going to put it up on the screen here. They've got a specific fund here called the FTSE 100 ETF. And as you can see here, 102 stocks in the fund. and it's just a way that you are able to have access to the UK markets if that was something that you're interested in as well. Of course, it's always great to see something that is valued really low in terms of investing, because if we're able to pick investments while they are cheap, then we're able to take advantage of the growth of the index and hopefully sell off at a position in the future where we've actually made a nice profit. So the next piece of news is about the Japanese stock index, and actually Moneyweek seem to have a very, very optimistic outlook for Japan. And one of the reasons for that is because they're a stock index called the Nikkei, and that's my best way of pronouncing it. It has actually reached a 30-year high, and because of that, it does look really, really promising over the long term. And they're quoted specifically for saying the market's stable of car makers, electronic firms, and banks is well placed to enjoy a profit surge as the global economy takes hold. So that is pretty exciting times for, I guess, Japan, if this becomes a true thing. And of course, the market there has definitely been playing out in a positive way for Japan. I'll just be able to pull that up on the screen for us here so we can actually see how well the Japan index has been doing. As you can see here, I've just pulled up the charts for the Nikkei index, and you can see here that actually, you know, over 30 years ago, 1991, which is crazy, I wasn't even born then, it was at 24,069, and today it's finally reaching all-time highs of 29,559. So, I mean, I do really feel for those early investors that have had to wait so long if they're able to like hold out for 30 years to really see a return on their investment. But it is positive times, and if you're somebody that wanted to have access to Japan in the UK, I personally do hold this index myself here from Vanguard. So it's not the Nikkei, but it's basically a Japan stock index fund to have access to Japan's stock market. Then you can see here that if you were to have invested at about 10 years ago, £10,000 as a lump sum, today that would be worth a nice £25,946. So Japan is definitely one that I've had my eyes on for a long time, and it's great to see that Moneyweek as well have that consensus for the long-term growth moving ahead. Next piece of news is all about actually the UK market and the debt itself for the UK. Obviously, dealing with the whole situation that's gone on over the last year, the UK has piled up a ton of public debt. The current amount actually equates to £2.11 trillion, which is insane. And these record levels of debt is something that actually is really, really alarming to many people now, because it's seen to actually be something that could very much spike inflation, because actually what's going on is there is so much money being like put into the economy. You know, we're seeing like the furlough scheme and like all these incentives for business. There's lots of money being put in, all this debt being accumulated, and people are very much scared of inflation happening. And one of the interesting things that Moneyweek actually showed later in one of the articles is that an American study backing the main actual best performing assets during times of inflation, and interestingly enough, gold and commodities were one of those. So commodities meaning things like oil and, you know, wheat, or just things that we use kind of on a day-to-day, key things like that. But actually what's really interesting is that them saying gold is one of the best performing assets during times of inflation. I recently did a video, and if you haven't seen that already, do check out here. It's called Gold versus Bitcoin. Can Bitcoin be the new digital gold? It's really a key thing to kind of look forward to the future and realize, with all this money that's being put into the economy, are we going to see prices start rising? And if that is the case, then how can we kind of put our money into a good store of value, like for example gold or Bitcoin? And that video, which I talk about gold versus Bitcoin, will give my thoughts on actually how Bitcoin could be very much the new digital gold. So I really recommend that you check that out. Is there going to be a huge increase in prices moving ahead? And how are we as individuals going to start preparing for that so that we're not actually losing out money to inflation? Another area that they recommend that is quite good for actually handling inflation times is called REITs, and that is short for Real Estate Investment Trust. Essentially, you know, when prices are rising, we do normally see real estate appreciate as well, and we can actually indirectly gain access to real estate by investing in trusts that focus on real estate primarily. Or for example, you could buy properties, but of course there is a lot of heavy investment often involved with that as well. So real estate investment trust is a really nice way to get into the real estate market without having to, you know, put a down payment on a house or take out a mortgage, for example. By the way, I just want to say a huge thank you to my subscriber, Sarah the Sinister. He left an amazing comment that I just really appreciated. And also just wanted to kind of mention that I've gone for a much more minimalistic style to editing these videos. I just want to be able to give you guys no nonsense information about the world of finance and investing that you can actually use to hopefully make better decisions, or actually just find out about new resources that allow you to actually understand different areas of investing or finance that really will be positive for you. If you really enjoyed the video, do go ahead, give me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel a lot, so more people like you can get this information. And most importantly, do subscribe if you love content like this, so that we're able to show you more videos on a weekly basis. And with that being said, I've got 2 videos on the screen here that you might find interesting to watch on other areas that we spoke about in this video. So that's everything from me. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys.